Well, welcome to F22, where we bring all things photography into focus, brought to you by VSCO. I'm Zach Hodges, and today we are super privileged to have Squint on the show. If you don't know Squint, he is many things. He's a creative director known for his work with top brands like Apple and Nike, and his iconic images of stars like Michael Jordan, Stephen Curry, D'Angelo, Jay-Z, many more. And then he also directs shows, directs films, produces shows, and he helps shape his clients' public identities to reflect their true selves as well. And then he has a background in photography and film and design from the Academy of Arts University and Stanford's D School. And Squint is also dedicated to mentoring future artists through his work with Street Code Academy. And he now teaches at Stanford's design school as well. So, I mean, a man of talent, of purpose, passion, and talent. But he says that his success comes from the trust that he builds with his clients through sincerity, gratitude, and the secret ingredient that makes everything that he touches special, which is love. So excited to talk to you. Welcome to the show, Squint.
Such an honor. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So just to get us started, tell us who you are, what kind of work you do, where you are, just kind of help us get to know you if people don't know about you already.
I am I like to say visual composer because I'm not just like locked into photography, but I'm a kid from Palo Alto, California, Bay Area kid,
Nice.
through and through, and
Same.
just a person that loves just visuals. I'm such a fan of the art, and it's always an honor and a privilege for me to be able to be a part of this. So I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you do, I read that list off. It's like, it sounds like everything visual, creative. I mean, are you primarily a photographer, creative director, film director, or is it just like all of it, anything?
Honestly, I guess the best way to describe it is like if I was a billionaire, I would always do photos. Like, I mean, I just really love this thing. And so I kind of feel like I alter situations and opportunities to allow me to be able to shoot. So,
Right.
I'm always constantly thinking of photography, like every single day. So I would say that's probably where my heart is.
Okay.
I'm great at other things, but I prefer to do anywhere in the arts, like cinematography. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not cinematography, visuals and photography.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, then you're in the right place. We're happy to be talking to you because this is all about photography. I'd love to know, just kind of tell us the story of how you got started. I mean, how did you get from, wherever you started to, shooting all these big clients and tell us that story.
I got started in photography at a young age, like being a kid from Palo Alto. My parents were into like art and jazz and things of that nature. And so I started off as like sketching and painting. And over time, like I'm like an emotional artist, so like if I'm like really, really mad or really upset, I could draw like amazing like drawings. But if I'm happy, it's very challenged. I'm like a novice, and so over time, I just felt like that was like too slow of a process, and then I got introduced to photography. Probably like. I would probably say like my first encounter was probably around the age of like 5. We were making like Christmas cards, and I just fell in love with photos. And then I really got exposed at the age of 8. My friend's mother was a producer of a show, a public access channel, and so by default, I was hanging out with them, and she was running late to drop us off. And so she's like, "Hey, can I just drop your son off after we produce the show?" And by chance, they didn't have a cameraman, so
Wow.
they needed someone to fill in. And so I was there. They taught me like headshot, headspace, three panels. Like they just opened up the opportunity for me to be able to shoot, and I loved it. I fell in love, and I did not leave from like literally age 8 to 18.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. So that's how you got started. And I feel like that's so many people's story. It's my story. Like I had somebody in my life that was a photographer that exposed me to a lot of these things early on. And I hear that from so many others that, it was somebody else that got them into it, or a program at school or something like that. So I guess it's a good reminder to just share your love of photography with the young people around you, because they might become Squint. But okay, so you got started. You're 8 years old. You're shooting film cameras or at a show. How do you get from that to photographer working with Michael Jordan and Nike and all these brands and musicians and stuff?
Man, I mean, it's weird because like I'm at a stage in my life now where like when I was 10, I was like, oh, I'm doing this. Like my mom had like this 120 camera that I used to use, like spring cameras, like all that like those old school cameras that I would use. Yeah. And at 10, I was like, oh, I'm doing this. At 12, I remember like writing a list of like people that I wanted to shoot.
Wow.
And so, I was like, okay, I would sketch them. So like, I would make sure like lighting would be this way. Wow. And it's ironic. Like I remember that list. It was like, first person was Nas, second person was Maxwell, Method Man, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson,
Jeez.
And so, you're dreaming this over the years and then just over time, just really perfecting my craft and growing and building relationships over the years and, just adding to it. And it's weird because it's kind of foggy because I worked for a publication at one time and, just it helped me to develop like my chops on like how to, how to reach out to certain artists or certain public figures to be able to shoot. And so I kind of learned the industry from that space.
Right.
And then it ended up going under. And so I just was like, hey, I'm going to take that same momentum and try to build relationships. And I jumped into music, and from music, it kind of like expedited this whole process. And
okay.
And then from sports, like I was, with the publication, I remember shooting like my first boxer was like Robert Guerrero, and he was like up and coming at the time, and that kind of like just gave me the footing of like, hey, I actually can do the sports side of it,
Yeah. Interesting. So you work for a publication, and you kind of learn the ins and outs of like reaching out to people and just kind of making these things happen, and that sort of led you down this path of basically establishing those relationships and continuing to have shoots like that. So, I mean, are you reaching out to, Michael Jordan saying, hey, I want to shoot your portrait sometime? What is that?
No,
he doesn't go to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that just happened over the years of just, working. Like I had one of my cousins and one of my really close friends, Jason Maiden, who was connected with VSCO community as well.
Oh, nice.
He worked for Jordan, and so I think the first time I met Jordan was through Jason Maiden. But then I had a cousin that Asher Chambers that worked for Jordan Brand, and although they didn't necessarily set me up with opportunities to shoot, it got me in the building to kind of like feeling like, oh, okay, like this is a dream. It just kept getting closer and closer, and then being at games or being at different events, it opened up opportunities for me to, have that nice one-on-one.
So you're just putting yourself in position to be ready for opportunities that might come up.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, like to be fair, like I work really hard.
Yeah,
like, and I'm a big dreamer. Like, I mean, I dream a lot. And so I'm always like, Jay-Z has this line that says like, I'm on the practice field running 2 a day, so I don't drop the ball when it's thrown my way. So it's like, if it's a football reference, but like if you're working twice as hard, when that opportunity comes, like you're not going to be blown away. And so I had the opportunity to shoot Michael Jordan 3 different times, and it's funny because like one of the times, like the one that like I really just loved, that like I got everything to the way that I wanted it. People were like, "Are you nervous? Are you shocked?" I was like, "Nah, I'm ready." I was so focused on how I wanted to capture them.
Yep. Yeah, luck favors the prepared. I love that.
Yeah, I like that.
That's great. So, where does your work come from? Is it just word of mouth? Are you reaching out to all these people? How is this happening besides just you're kind of in these places? Where does that come from?
A lot of my work comes from like just good relationships. A lot of people actually refer me to working. I've been requested by a lot of people if they've seen it from certain people. But I have a really good network and a pretty cool ecosystem of people that just refer me for certain work. So ironically, like sometimes I can't believe the opportunities that I'm getting, and it's not because like any agency or any management is helping me. It's more so just people wanting to work with me, liking the style and like when I contribute and just wanting that kind of look. And ironically, like I've been known for like black and whites, having some very gritty, timeless black and whites,
Yeah. So I want to talk about like that, how you build that network, how you build those relationships. You mentioned a lot how love is a really important kind of attribute for you. What does that mean in practice? Like, what are you doing that's, creating these relationships, building trust, making it so that people want to have you, want to work with you in that way? What does that practically look like?
I mean, I'm born on Valentine's Day, so like everything that I do is like through the lens of love.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like my mother always says like you're born to love. So I even if I didn't want to, I have no, I have to do this. But a lot of times, like when I work with different people, like I've been very blessed to like work with people that inspire me. Like I mean, think about that. When I was like a little kid, I saw like the Jordan 1s, the red, black and red. And I was like, that's the only shoe I need for the rest of my life. And so I'm kind of grateful that they're like very popular now because I'm not like the older guy just wearing, old sneakers. But like, I just knew at an early age like what I wanted. And so to be able to work with people that truly inspire me, like sometimes I can't believe it. I'm still a fan. But I treat those opportunities as just like I cherish them, I'm not really, I'm a fan, but I'm also like privileged to be a contributor in their journey, and so I really cherish it. And like trust is a big thing, just even in my own personal life. Like I'm not a person that like is a busybody. I don't go around like, sharing all kind of secrets. I have a lot of secrets that I've known over the years, but to be honest with you, like I just really feel like trust is a big thing, and I think that kind of comes out of my character. And so, I don't really ask for much. I really hate asking for things, and so when I'm working with people, it's just giving them my best within that moment.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like somebody could look at all the success that you've had and just see like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be that, but I can never be there. I guess maybe like take us along that journey, getting there. Has it just been one success after the other, or has it been setbacks and, ups and downs? And maybe tell us about some of the failures or some of the things that didn't go so well, to help kind of balance this just amazing success story that you are.
Yeah. I mean, I look, there's been a lot of failures. I'm not going to sit here and lie and just be like, oh yeah, it's all, like it's been some work, it's funny because like I go on like this 5-10 year run where it's like things that I'm chasing for like 10 years finally starts to happen, So, for example, like, I've had people promise, hey, I know such and such, you're going to be in London. I'm going to connect you with this person. And it never happens, and then like, you have like this bucket list, like I have to shoot this person or I have to have this opportunity. And so that's happened to me a lot, where it's like when I first started, it's like you're very gullible, where it's like, someone mentions something, and then as you get older, you realize how this industry works, and it doesn't really work like that. It's just, I think sometimes people just have conversations. And so, unfortunately, I've had opportunities where like, where it's like, man, if I could just have this one opportunity to shoot this person, my life will change. And, like Jason Maiden was like one of the best things that happened to me in career-wise as far as a friend of seeing an opportunity, because I just thought like, man, if I shoot this person, my life is good. I can coach from here. Yeah. And he actually helped me to see like through certain jobs and see through industries. And so it made it easier for me to sustain more of a mentality. It's like, it's just a piece instead of hanging like my whole career. I think a lot of artists think that, like, if I could just shoot, Beyonce, or if I could just shoot Michael Jackson or this, my career would be over. And I realized it's not about just that one opportunity. It's more about a legacy, a catalog, the longevity of it. And so the dynasty of the work. And so when I look at that, that's kind of helped me guide myself through making sound decisions on how I shoot and who I work with, and just, where I want to go within my career.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I mean, your career has been a couple decades now, I'm assuming. What have you seen that has changed since you started? Is it harder? Is it easier? Is it just different? Like, what have you seen in your time?
Man, I've seen, like, I started with film, so like, I mean, I used to process and develop color, black and white, like my own stuff. Like, I worked for photo labs, like I worked for different places over the years, and so I saw the transition. And it's funny because, like, I was like one of the last people to go from film to digital, and then it took me 5 years to adjust to digital from film. And then now everyone's going back to film.
Right.
So it's funny, but I still have my film cameras. Like, I still love the smell, but we didn't have social media, so that really played a massive part in my career, because I learned a lot. It's so much easier to reach out and have access to different people. And then, like, my dream back in the day was, like, to be in the gallery. You have people come and see it, and some high-end fashion art curator from New York would come in, see my work, bring me out there, but it doesn't work like that. Now with social media, it's like you got people from all over the world that are familiar with your work. And I'm meeting people, even now I meet so many people, and they're like, man, I've been a fan of your work for so long. That's one of the things I always ask, like, how did you come to know my work? And they'll tell me stuff that I'm like, wow, it's been that long, Yeah,
that's amazing. Do you feel like you're seeing any changes now that are starting? Like, do you see the industry going somewhere different?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think there's always going to be appreciation for visuals, in photography. Like, it's funny because, like, over the years, like, for probably like the last 15 years, like, I collect like all these like shots of like famous people with photos.
Right.
Like, and it's, like, eventually I'm going to do like this ultimate TED talk that talks about like everyone's a photographer. But like, you think about it, like Spider-Man, like he was a photographer,
Yep.
All these like cool superheroes over the years. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the fact that there are more people getting exposed to it, especially at a young age. And then just different platforms. I think the quality of equipment is getting so much better and so much more convenient, where you're spending more time creating and not like going through menus or trying to figure out certain things. Like, I mean, those little minute details that are in photography that you spend, countless hours editing, you're seeing it actually being solved through certain equipment and things like that. So I'm loving it. Like, I'm actually excited. Like, I feel like a kid,
Yeah. I mean, okay, while we're on that topic, tell us about the equipment that you use. What is that for you?
Well, I got a ton of cameras, so I mean, I'm a camera junkie. So I mean, I collect cameras, and depending on what it is that I'm shooting, is essentially like what I use. Like, it's weird because, like, when I shoot sports, I'll bring out 2 medium format cameras. About 2 years ago, like, I bought the Hasselblad X2D, which I love. Very slow camera.
Nice.
Not something that you would typically use for sports, but man, when you get that shot, it's rich and amazing. So, but then thanks to Greg, he introduced me to the Fuji systems. Yeah. And so, like, I really love the GFX. My favorite camera from them is the GFX 50S. Like, I mean, the first one. Yeah. And man, I mean, my favorite lens to this day is the 110 that they provide. I mean, just beautiful, very cinematic, like, that's kind of like more my pace. Yeah. I have a few Leicas, a few Nikons, so I started with Nikon, so I'm still with Nikon. I love nice. Nikons. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a billionaire and you're just doing photography. Which camera are you using?
Ugh. Honestly, like that's a very. It depends on what I'm shooting. If you give me like what we're shooting, I could tell you. Like I use my Leica typically for like just BTS when people are really comfortable. It's weird. Like I spend I have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of camera gear, but whenever I have like my Leica, like I was on like the red carpet for I think the ESPYs, and people are like, "Oh, I see you with the Leica," and I'm like, "But you don't see this like Hasselblad, you don't see, So, but the Leica actually gets me a lot of attention, a lot of opportunities, and people are more comfortable, I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'2", so when you see this little tiny camera, people feel more comfortable, It's not as invasive.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I don't know if people know this, but your connection to VSCO actually goes back really far. I think it was back in 2019. We had this VSCO Voices grant program that you were a part of. Maybe just tell us a little bit about that. What was that experience? How'd it go? How's it going now? Just catch people up on that might not know.
I mean, the best way to describe that, it was like, like when you're in science camp and you meet all these cool people and you never want to like see them go.
Yeah.
But you have like this bond forever. Like that's kind of how I felt. VSCO Voices was amazing. It opened up opportunity for me to get back into music. I stepped away from music for some time, and I spent so much time in sports. And so, from basketball to football and other sports, tennis in between. I was like, I'm kind of missing music. And I think I didn't like the industry. Like the music industry was changing. But I just wanted to get more to the artists, and so I kind of went back and focused. And my project was like the innovation of jazz, and so I focused on a lot of like rising, incredible jazz artists that are like just out of here now. But it got me back into it. It really got me back into music. And from then to now, I've been merging music and sports instead of separating the two.
Yeah,
and so it's been so much easier for me to just navigate both worlds.
That's amazing. Well, I'm just, I don't know, honored to have been a part of your journey in that way. It's really cool. It's been fun being here for so long, hearing these kinds of stories and being able to be a part of people's journey that way has been really cool. One more thing. I was looking at your VSCO again recently. It's always so beautiful, but I noticed that it's quite different from your other social media profiles. So I'm just kind of curious, like, how do you use your different kind of presences? How does VSCO play into that? Like, well, what role does it have for you?
Like VSCO to me is like it's the closest thing to print for me. Like I'll actually use, ironically, like I've used VSCO as my actual website because I love the format, I love the layout, and I just love how it helps me to be able to express. Like sometimes, just to be honest, like I'll hear like just the wrong noise on like other social platforms. Like people don't know this, but like I probably blocked over like 10,000 people on like my Instagram, especially when you're working with like public figures, people steal your work and repurpose it for their own, their own traction. And so, but with VSCO, it gives me more of that freedom and liberty to actually work with artists. And so I love to see my work, how I shot it with that intention. If it's good enough for VSCO, like it helps me to be able to go and select the type of prints, and so I'm constantly on there, like just looking and trying to figure out like how I want to present certain things, and sometimes it's been a good like time capsule for me to see like the journey of my work. Like if you really want to know me as an artist, I would say check out my VSCO.
Wow. That's cool. And is printing like a big part of your process? Do you print your work quite often?
Yeah, I do. I actually I'm an old school guy, so I love the tangibles. I know we're in like a digital standpoint, but I mean a digital time, a digital era, and I would say, imagine if we didn't have electricity. Like that's always my fear. And so I want to at least have the tangibles. And then recently, especially this year, I've had some incredible shoots, and so when I go to print the images, like I've literally gone to sleep with like photo albums of like the new work just cherishing it, and smelling the print and feeling certain things. But yeah, I mean, it's, and the thing is like, VSCO is like I said, it's the closest thing to print for me.
Yeah, just because of the clean design and not so much extra stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. I was just listening to a talk by Joel Meyerowitz, and he was encouraging people to print their work and look at it in person and how different that is. And I've definitely found that to be true. So I think that's cool. And it's great that VSCO is a close second for prints for you.
Yeah, I love it.
I want to kind of dig into your role as a mentor, as an educator too, because you mentioned that you're teaching at Stanford. I think you were teaching at the was it Code Academy?
Street Code Academy.
Yeah. How did all that start? What's the story there?
Well, Street Code Academy was started by one of my best friends, Tunde Sabomahim, and being one of the co-founders, like, we would teach like these hustle classes and entrepreneurship, and it's weird because over the years, I mean, I'm pretty sure like when you shoot a lot of public figures, I think a lot of people want to work with you.
Okay.
And it just got to a point where it's like, everyone was like, man, if you need someone to carry your camera bags, I'm like, man, we got to get in line. There's like a ton of people that tell me that. But it opened up opportunity. 'Cause I'm pretty sure we all hear it, but there comes a point in time where you would love to teach and it keeps you sharp, but you just don't have the bandwidth to be able to have these one-on-one sessions, and I'm a father, I'm a husband, so it's like challenging to, give any extra time outside of work to as many people as I would love to. So teaching has actually opened more doors, giving me the opportunity to be able to reach more people.
Yeah.
And it's extremely rewarding too. Like when I see some of the people that I've encountered over my journey and seeing their growth and how they're, pioneers in the industry, it's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm sure we have a lot of, young aspiring photographers, creatives watching this. And I'm curious if there's like, a common pitfall that you see a lot of your students falling into, or just a piece of advice that you feel like you're giving over and over and over again, that, maybe would be worth sharing.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like an old soul, so like I've always been comfortable with like, older people. Like I would always joke and say like Ansel Adams and Gordon Parks and like Irving Penn were like my best friends, and it's funny because, a lot of younger people, especially like from the age of like, let's say like 18 to about 28, 29. There's like a high level of like vanity, right? So they, and for me, like I want to be invited back to the party. Meaning, like I don't want to just like I've had people that and I've worked like even my team now. It's taken me about 14 years to build.
Wow.
And just because there's a bond, but sometimes people get in certain situations and they just are more concerned about like how my Instagram looks, and so they're snapping away. And it's like, no, like. Be present. Like I'll get the shots of us, but let's get the work done first, and more people kind of fan out, and it makes the subject very uncomfortable, and you become a liability on set versus like an actual contributor, Yeah. And so a lot of people are more concerned about, it's like when you go to a concert, you see a ton of phones in the air because no one's cherishing the moment.
Yeah.
And I really want my team to be like, hey, let's get great content so that we can continue doing this versus like, missing shots and missing moments. I think a lot of that happens, especially when I see that age realm where it's like, there's a saying where it's like your 20s, you do things for the acceptance of others. Your 30s, like you kind of figure out, like you're undoing what you did in your 20s, and then the 40s, you're doing for yourself and family. And so I think that's the key thing. It's like just encouraging young creators to just really love the craft, hone in on your skills, and not just do it because it looks cool,
Right. Well, and I would wonder if a lot of times people feel like they have to be doing that stuff. I've heard people say things like this where they feel like in order to make it as a photographer, they have to have a certain amount of views, followers, all these things. And so they're just taking any opportunity that they can to try to do something that's engaging and try to rise above the noise. And I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is to play the long game and not try to chase, vanity metrics, and just do good work and be consistent and deliver and build trust. And, in the long run, that's what's it seems like that's what's worked for you.
Yeah. I mean, and I hope this doesn't sound crazy, but like I've had people that I've met that had like, hundreds of thousands of followers. And like they're sleeping on their mom's couch or a friend's couch, and then some of my like favorite photographers, I mean, that I follow for years, that I've like taken a lot of my creativity and learned from them, would have like a few followers, and I just didn't understand it. And it's like, I would rather be like, I don't care about what my social numbers are. I would rather have the real work, like, so, and like, especially like the last 3 years, especially on like Instagram, I haven't posted as much as the work that's done, just because I wanted to cherish the moments to spend time with the work, versus like, given this perception that, I'm always moving, absolutely, but I don't want to lie about it. Like, my real life is better than my social life,
Oh, that's good. Your real life is better than your social life. I love that. I noticed this, I mean, I always kind of try to prepare for the interviews and do some background research and stuff. And it was so interesting looking you up because your internet presence, your social media presence, like you're saying, was very unassuming. And yet there's like these insane images of, famous people that we all know. And it was such a dichotomy, such a, reversal from the usual thing where somebody's really loud and promoting themselves. And they got all this stuff and their images are just sort of okay. And it got me thinking, like, gosh, like, how does he do this? Like, where is all this coming from? How does this work? And it sounds like it's just, the relationships and the network that you have and the trust that you've built, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, how cool it is to have like your hero text you, like, how amazing that is, like that feeling, like, I mean, that means something more to me. And I'm very aware of it. Like, if I post certain things, I'm not doing it so that the world can see. It's like, when it's like happy birthday, you're sending someone a birthday wish only on social, but you don't call them. Like, I'd rather, yes. Like if you have a relationship with me, it means more to me that you actually reach out versus like just, in social, and I know how to play the game, but to be honest with you, like, I really care for the well-being of people. And most of those people, most public figures aren't even on social. Someone else is running their page, so I'd rather get their approval. Like, I've had some people say, man, this is the best photo that anyone's ever taken of me. That means more to me than like, any Instagram or any like on any social platform.
Yeah, like that one person that's just absolutely delighted versus a million people that just hit a little button and move on. Like, it's so much more meaningful to get feedback like that from somebody that really counts. It really matters.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And to be honest, on social, you don't remember what you like last week.
Yeah.
Or even
right?
even within the same day, So, I think that content piece can be challenging because, like I've really done some great work that I love, and I post it on social, it gets no traction. And then I'll post something that means nothing, and it just takes off. And so that, if you allow your creativity to hang up on the algorithm, you'll lose every day. And that's what I love about like VSCO, is that it actually allows the work to breathe. And it lives a lot longer throughout the day, than just like, you can go back and like, wow, that did happen, I always remind myself that,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this happens for you. I'll get people like reposting and favoriting images I took on VSCO from like years ago. And I'm like, how did you find this? What is happening here? And then more people start reposting it again. And it's like, the work can have such a long life that I don't see anywhere else. It's really cool.
And I love that, like seeing on the activities, you'll see like that they've gone that far down, because it kind of is like a benchmark of like my own growth, I actually can see like, okay, why was this one stronger? Why did I think this was strong at the time? And I can actually scale a lot of my growth within my VSCO account than any other social,
Yeah. Yeah. Man. Okay. Last question. I'm just curious to know, like, let's look at how does somebody like you look forward? I mean, you've accomplished so much. You've, achieved many of your dreams. When you get to that height, are you bored? Are you, how are you continuing to grow? How are you looking forward? And, where is all this going for you?
I mean, like I said, my best friends, like most of the photographers that I looked up to, they hit their prime when they're like 45, 50 years old, so I got some years on me, but, I've been preparing for like those moments where it just takes off. And so to be honest with you, I feel like it's new, I've never had that moment where it's getting old. Like, I feel like I'm just starting, and, I'm loving it. Like, there's some things that I want to do. I'm currently in the process of building a production house, because my bandwidth is just so pulled in different ways. So to be able to work with the right creatives and the right team, and just have more, of a contribution to this work and to this art, so I'm really excited about that. And, I'm really, right now, I just started like this massive 3-year run where it's like, I'm giving it my all, more than I've ever done before, so, if you see me like in 4 or 5 spots in a day, it's because, I'm trying to get a clone, but right now I'm just, really hustling to, take my work to a whole nother stratosphere. So I've been doing like a lot of studio work. I've been doing a lot of commercial work. I've been doing a lot of like directing, which is amazing. A lot of commercial work. So, just really pushing myself to learn this form, and I like working with studio because it's helping me with like just my lighting and my compositions and storytelling, it's a challenge because for me, I'm really a documentarian, a historian at heart. So it's easy to capture these moments, but what happens is you have to recreate the moments. Yeah. And that's been a beautiful, I'm finally starting to get it. Like I'm really starting to get to a place where I appreciate it,
That's amazing. I think that's gotta be what has gotten you to this point is just your endless thirst to improve and your kind of endless hustle. And, it's not like you've gotten to this point and you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. It's always, how do I do my best for the next job? How do I become better? How do I even expand my like reach and ability to do work with more people and extend myself through others? That's amazing.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is like, you meet all kind of people and they're always, you learn so much from different, from sports and music. Like I had a good friend tell me they're the same. They're like, in the way they describe my work, they said, you have the ability to capture people that are disciplined to whatever it is that they set their set their heart to doing. So if it's basketball, like, and I've been fortunate to work with literally the best of the best, in their field, and it just means a lot. So like in working with like the jazz musicians, like one of my good friends is Keon Harold, and you'll see the way that they carry their fingers, like their mannerisms based off of what they've, their body is altered based off of their commitment to the instrument, whether it's a piano player, their posture's different, like the drummer, they walk a certain way. Like you can see, if it's a dancer or a basketball player, a football player, you could see that their body has adjusted to the thing that they love the most. And so, ironically, like my mom gave me the name Squint. And so, but I'm constantly focused. Like I'm constantly like viewing things and seeing things, and I've devoted my life to this craft. So, I love that.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I know I said last thing, but one more last thing.
No, you got. Trust me.
Okay. So for for people that are coming up, that are looking at you, wishing that they could do work like you, for somebody that's wanting to basically do what you do, what advice would you give them, or even like what would you tell yourself, all those years ago when you were just getting started, knowing what you know now?
Knowing what I know now, I would say that I would just avoid the empty promises because I think, like I remember just being a young teenager. I moved to Oakland when I was 17, 18, and, you know, getting ready for college. And I just remember, like, everyone was promising me, like, oh, you got a camera? Hey, I know this person. And so you're just so excited to, like, you know, you're just chasing, like, you know, like, those empty promises I would hang up for, like, a whole month. Like, oh, my gosh, I'm going to shoot this person. And it doesn't happen, you know, but, like, and it's weird because, like, even now, like, I'll probably shoot anywhere from, like, 25 to 35 celebrities a week. Outside of like other projects. But when I say celebrities, it comes with a lot. Like there's a lot of like entourage, there's a lot of ego, there's a lot of like uncertainty, insecurities. You're dealing with all that within a week's time. But I've learned to just be committed to what you love. Know your equipment. You know, like it doesn't matter what equipment you have. I've learned that. Like I thought once I got like the top tier cameras, my life would be set. And sometimes it's, you know, the stuff that I started with that makes it so much easier. So, but I would just encourage, you know, young up and coming talent and young, up and coming artists to just love their craft, learn, study, you know, like learn that, use that manual more, and really get familiar with your tool, you know, whatever your weapon of choice is.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Whew. Gosh, thank you so much, Squint, for being on the show and sharing so much of your wisdom. This has been incredible. Correct me if I'm wrong. People can find you on VSCO with the username just Squint, Squint, and then Instagram and Threads is I am Squint.
I am Squint.
Squint, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Squint's work. It's incredible, and I just it's always so exciting to see, you know, what the next incredible photo of some, you know, famous person or beautiful scene or whatever is going to come up on your feed next. I love seeing that. So definitely give Squint a follow and check him out. That's all for today. Thank you all. We will see you on the next one. Thank you, Squint. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jack.